Well, Henshaw here again, your friendly local constitutional coop from California. And I've just gotten some really exciting news in recent weeks here that's going to change the legal landscape. And I have the ability to do that. I have a great genius type gift here. And to see an example, by the way, watch a really good Ron Howard movie called A Beautiful Mind about John Nash, a mathematician in an earlier era with a similar situation in his specialty, mathematics. I have it here, and it's hard to even put it into words, but I can connect a lot of dots. And what I want to do is get out there and educate people, especially in the area of public education, and create some education videos, especially for those who homeschool their children, because they ain't, they'll be at a big advantage over the public school system that doesn't teach a damn thing. And I like to get it into public schools too. And I can do it a cappella off the top of my head. And I'll take on anybody they want to bring in to try to prove me wrong and blow them out. I know, Trump knows, Bondi knows, and fortunately the justices of the Supreme Court today know exactly what I'm talking about here. Mostly the 14th Amendment and all the war on Athens of Congress and the president and this, that, and the other. And that's what has to stop. So I'm looking for some investment capital to help get that done. And anybody that helps me with that, we're going to be getting a lot of big settlements in because you're going to learn that all these perps out there, and even if we beat them in their corrupt courts, are committing multiple acts of treason to the Constitution. And that's the Constitution saying it, and you'll learn the U.S. Supreme Court saying it, and they know. And what's going to happen is they're going to get the checkbooks out because if they don't, we issue our citizens arrest affidavit. And I think the U.S. Attorney General, Pam Bondi, has the discretionless ministerial duty to either go out and arrest the perps and prosecute them for treason, or tell them to pick up, make a phone call, tell them to drop all the charges and cases against you, clear all the paperwork out, and get your checkbooks out while you're at it. And it's going to be a big payoff because of what they're getting out from under. Treason to the Constitution. If you don't know what the penalty is for that, they'd be right out there in close proximity to what I call cell 2455 on death row in San Quentin. And damn well should be, having taken a sworn oath to be bound by this Constitution and doing exactly the opposite. So, like I said, I'm looking for some investment partners here, and not a whole hell of a lot of money. It's not like I need, $10 million or anything, but, to get things in place. And I think these videos are going to really sell, especially the people that educate their children at home. And we'll work to see if we can get them in the public school system too, because they teach nothing. And they didn't when I was in school all those decades ago, right outside of Washington, D.C. Didn't learn jack shit of what I know now. Education was a lot better, by the way, in many ways back in the day, but not in this one. But that's what we can do and get the word out. And now when you get jurors come in there, and at the moment you'll learn we have no qualified jurors or electors, but jurors that study the materials that we're going to be putting out will know when they get on a jury, they have the right to rule on the facts and the law. And that's going to change the legal landscape in a big time way. Because that's the protection we're supposed to have. When the government gets way out of control like that, you go in front of a jury and you tell them exactly why and what happened. And that's why I have, among other things, about 550 jury instructions to get that message across. It really is exciting. So, send me an email, by the way, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. And it's really hard to embrace how great this window is. We haven't had a window like this in 150 years. The Supreme Court doing its job, with the Republicans in control of the Senate and the House, and Trump in the White House. Although I have to say, some of the things Trump is doing, especially with El Salvador and Venezuela, I'm not thrilled with the way he's doing it. But on the whole, a lot of good changes are coming here. And if we get younger Trump appointees on the court, especially before they return to session in October, oh, that's stunning settlement leverage for us because they're going to be going full out to restore the original intent of those racist framers, and we're going to be right there at the doorstep. That's how good it is. We're ahead of the curve, and I'm way ahead of the curve with the Supreme Court. They're sounding more and more exactly like me every day, as you will learn. So that said, send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com, and we can set up, doing a Zoom appearance initially. Need 24 hours for that, and I can talk to you like I'm doing now off the top of my head. No notes, no nothing. And if we get a couple of three investors, and like I said, it doesn't need to be a lot of money here, fortunately. I'm not Bill Gates out there, and I need 30 or $40 million, to do anything at all. We can get it done very much less than that and change the course of American history. And that benefits, you, your children, and your posterity. That's priceless, is what that is. And we get it all back and we keep it this time and don't allow it to be stolen again. Well, if I can do that, I will have done what I was put here to do. And I was put here, by the way, and I don't ask, I know, but March 4th, 1857, I'm a mid-19th century person. You don't know how I got here. I have to ask Gates and Elon Musk about that part. But I'm here, and I'm on duty, and I am ready to go. So send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. We can talk about working together. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. And what you'll learn at the outset is worth the price. It really is. What should be going on as opposed to what we see out there, this de facto national socialist government in which nobody has any rights. The government's down to respect. That's what we want to change. And if we change it, it's great for all of us, except the New York banksters. The hell with them. Get them out of here. So that said, send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com, and we can talk about having a future together here and making a future for everyone else. Thank you.